Welcome back to the Corde Snell Show. I'm the guy, Corde Snell. Jared, how we doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Noah, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
You guys can't see Noah, but he's in some fly-ass glasses right now, dude. I don't know. I feel like I'm cutting down on your shot. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, thanks to Jared. Yeah, he gave them to me.
He went to Jared. Hell yeah. That's dope as hell. Fuck yeah. So yeah, this week it's kind of funny. I don't should I talk about? Fuck it. A bunch of my students found my YouTube channel. And I just been lying. Okay, I'm not. Guys, okay, students who might be watching this podcast, my name is Corde Snell, all right? My brother teaches at Making Waves, all right? We're twins. We're not the same person. We have the same tattoos and a bunch of stuff. So I've been hearing you guys been asking like, yo, is this you? Is this you? And no, it's not him. He has a twin, all right? He doesn't do stand-up. He teaches fully. I'll try to get him to stand up for a long time. That's him, all right? Like he's been annoyed. He's been blowing up my phone because like he's like, yo, brother, you got to stop doing all these videos and stuff because my students think that I have a TikTok, and he's just like, I'm not gonna stop. Like, so we kind of had a little friction, a little fight this week. And all you guys think it's him. It's not. I'm his twin brother, Corde. His name is Cardelis. My name is Corde. It's similar, but yeah, we're dope. We're tight as hell. But we had a little fight this week because he was just like. Because a bunch of students just kept coming up to him. He was like, yo, is this you? Is this you? And he's like, no. And he's right, but it's actually not him. I'm his twin brother, Corde. All right, back to the pod. Anyway, how y'all doing, man? Cool. I just had to address that because like my brother been hitting me up all week. He was just like, yo, can you stop your podcast? And Jared, we've been cooking. We've been cooking. We've been cooking. I'm not about to stop the podcast for you, brother. I love you. I love you to death. But we ain't about to stop this whole thing. Like, this is going well. He's going good. He's trying to be like a full-time teacher, whatever. No, I'm doing my comedy thing. So he told me that one of the students walked up to him and said, hey, you like to be called daddy? And he told me he almost took him to the dean's office. Like, what the hell? You asking me if you like to be called daddy? Because he didn't get the reference. He didn't get the reference of what was going on. And then he was like, so he texted me. He was like, hey, your podcast, you got a daddy thing or something like that going on? And I was like, oh yeah, I asked one of my co-hosts if he liked to be called daddy. And he was like, okay, because my students is asking me if I like to be called daddy. I'm like, first of all, y'all having sex? Is y'all having sex right now? He didn't even know what the hell that was about. It was super funny. And I had to explain to him what was going on the podcast because some of us like to be called daddy and then some of us don't. Ain't that right, Noah?
Yeah, no, I think it's weird. I still think it's weird.
Still think it's weird. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
It's because, oh man, this is going to sound weird.
Go ahead.
You can be called it because you can be a dad.
Yeah.
I'm not a father.
I mean, your dick work, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can be a dad.
Oh, okay.
My dad had me when he was your age, so it is possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel like you could be a dad, but you're not a daddy, right?
Yeah,
you're not like a daddy.
yeah.
I got you. It's like levels to daddy. Yeah.
Yeah, like just that's like a different thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not that.
You be like, I'm somebody's father. I'm not a daddy.
Yeah, actually, I would be a father.
Yeah,
I would be a great dad.
Yeah.
Not a daddy.
So like, I think everybody wants to be a daddy, but not a father. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I want the other way around.
Okay. I mean, eventually I want kids, but I'd rather be a daddy for like the next 5 years. Or like, and then become somebody's father, you know? Because I'm not in a serious relationship, so it's like that's another thing, all right? So it's super funny, and it's like, so my homie, one of my best friends, love him to death. He always keeps asking me. He was like, "Hey man, when you gonna have some kids out here, man? We need to have some kids. Corde, you need to have some kids, like, because I want our kids to grow up together." And I'm at this point, I'm like, that's not gonna happen anytime soon because I don't want to have kids by somebody I don't have like a serious relationship with. And I started thinking about it. I was like, hey man, I can hold off on having kids, all right? Because by the time I have kids, let's say like years later, your kids can watch my kids and we can go off and get drunk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dope as hell. Like, it still work out because by the time I have kids, your kids like maybe teenagers or some shit like that. Now I'm having kids. Like, hey, me and your dad going out. Watch my newborn, all right? Or not my newborn, but like my 2-year-old or some shit like that, you know? And then us and the mom was going out and like, why I gotta watch it? Because I said so, all right? Don't fucking question your godfather, okay? Hell yeah. That is dope. as hell. But
That's a smart way to do it.
Smart way to do it. Exactly, man. I ain't in no rush to have kids. I ain't never in no rush. I still always talk about this. My mom had my baby brother when I was 16 or about to turn 16 in high school, and I had to change his diapers. I had to help raise him and stuff like that. My mom had my little brother. He's 8 years younger than me, so I have 2 younger brothers, right? And I remember because of that, I never wanted to have kids or no time soon, right? Especially in high school, because I'm like, this shit is hard as fuck, and I'm just watching my little brother, and I would have to I would have to do all this like stuff as an adult or like be a teenager adult, like having to do this. And I was like, I got an allowance. How the hell am I gonna take care of a kid on an allowance? And I'm just like, I'm not in any rush. Like, yeah, I was getting like $50 every 2 weeks. You can't take care of a baby on $50 every 2 weeks, you know? Then I gotta get a job. I don't wanna do that. I love buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This is not what I'm for, all right? And even now, when I start getting older, I was like, I don't have a kid because I want to buy Jordans, you know? I just want to be able to waste money on stuff instead of, I got to be responsible. I got to do this kind of stuff, all right? And then I started telling my mom early on, I was like, Mom, I'm not having a kid till I'm 38. I started telling her this at like 19. I had made it up in my head. I was like, because that's 20 years from now, I'm not going to do it, right? And then so she was like, Corde, we having kids. I was like, I am not 38. Am I 38 yet? Am I 38? Mom, am I 38? She's like, no, you're not. It's like, well, check in with me at 38, right? And then I started getting a little older, and I was like, okay. I was like, I'm having a kid at 38. I might reevaluate the situation when I'm 35. Y'all, I am 34 right now. I'm about to turn 35 later this year. I am fucking scared. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, maybe have a kid at 42. I don't know. I'm just pushing it back. It's just getting pushed back more and more. So hell yeah, it is dope as hell. Having
Would you want a preference, like if you
come on now,
boy or girl?
Come on now, come
you
on,
want a boy?
Jared, don't ask me a stupid question like that. Don't ask me a stupid question.
I don't know if it's stupid.
It's stupid, man. It's stupid. Of course I want a boy. Come on now.
See, I would rather have a girl.
I would too. I would rather have a girl.
Fuck both of y'all. All right. So the real reason why I want to have a boy, so Snell is my last name, right? It's just me and my brother. Like we both had a Snell last name, and then my sister, she has a Snell last name. But our dad had 3 girls before us, right? So and then also our uncles all had girls. Like my dad's brothers, his cousins. So there was like just like 2 generations of men having nothing but girls. So the Snell name started getting erased, right? And then one of my uncles, he had 3 boys, like back to back to back, like 3 boys, like no girls. And then my uncle used to make fun of my dad. He was like, "Hey, why you out here trying? You know, I'm only person who can make boys. You better stop. You better keep making them girls out here and stuff." Then when he got me and my brother, and he was just like, I had 2. I not only had 1, I had 2, like back to back, you know? So it was a cool like little thing. So then now we're both trying to have my brother. He was like, I just care for whoever I get. But I'm like, no, I want a boy, all right? I want you to carry on the Snell name, right? I want you to carry it on. So that's for me. That's why I'm selfish in that way of having a boy. Like I want to have multiple boys, but I think I do want a daughter though. But I don't want my first one. If I'm like one and done, I want a boy. Because then that way I can carry on the Snell name and we can keep going from there. But I think I do have like a soft spot for girls. Like, not my sister, but like, but it's like, cause I see cause my brother teaches and then we interact with like our homies who have daughters, and it's definitely like a different like sensitivity that we have like when we're around like young girls, stuff like that. Like he taught, I think I substituted one time and I said, nah, I ain't doing this. I can't do this shit, right? And and so and I saw it, like I envisioned it like, okay, cool. Like if I have a daughter, I'll be very overprotective of her. Like I always probably carry her everywhere. Like I would do the same thing with my son, but it was like with your son, you'd be like a different level of toughness, that this is the way to be a man. But then I'll also be like very sensitive to my son as well. So it's like a different thing. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, unless, you know what I'll probably do if I have a daughter? I'll be like, I'll raise her, like all this stuff. But then I would tell her like, hey, if you get married, you got a name. If you have I need you to have 2 kids. If you have sons, I need you to name one of them Snell. All right. I just need you to do that, to carry on the Snell name. All right. Tell your husband if you signed up for it, this is what he signed up for. Okay. Because it's weird in my family. A lot of my aunts gave my cousins the Dennis last name. Like my mom's last name is Dennis, and so several of my cousins have the Dennis last name. They don't have their their dad's name. And I was like, why not? And it was like, oh no, that's what we signed. That's what we put up with. I think it's because my grandpa was that damn intimidating. He was like, so he's gonna be a dentist, right? And he's like 6'2", 6'3". Like imagine a tall 6'3" cowboy dude telling you your son's name was gonna be Dennis. And he's like, yes sir. Like, cause my aunt, she was with a white guy, super cool. His name is John. And he's like, I remember meeting Mr. Dennis. He still called him Mr. Dennis to this day. This dude I think he's like 63. I still remember Mr. Dennis. Mr. Dennis was intimidating. He was an intimidating man. And I was like, yep, it's probably why they have the name Dennis. So it's cool. Hell yeah. Fuck. Did I ever tell you guys about the salsa story?
No.
Okay, so I know how to salsa very well. All right, self-taught, watch and stuff. So I could dance salsa very well. The reason why I could dance salsa so damn good is because like one, I can pick up stuff fast. Two, I can like watch and like dance. Like growing up, I was a big NC Hammer fan. I just learned how to do the Running Man just by watching them, practicing and stuff like that. So one time I went to this place called Puda 1015 Folsom, right? And I remember I'm dancing with this fine chick, right? Super fine. I remember I seen her around, gorgeous as hell. And I'm dancing with her, but I can't get the moves correctly, right? And then like I think she was like, just keep going. And I keep messing up. And it was like one more time. And then I kind of step on her foot. She's like, it's all right. You have a good night, right? And then this fucking Latino dude comes up, like extends his hand like out of a fucking rom-com and stuff like that. And he gets her and he starts twirling her around and stuff like that, dancing with her like all like you making love. Like salsa's a very seductive dance. They're all going like this, like stuff like that, and then doing that stuff, and then he dips her and then he brings her back up and he like turns and he's like looking at me and like gives me like a fucking like yeah, right? And then like she turns around and she's like, and then they walk off together. All right, they walk off together. And there's very few times, but I had like that single like thug tear that like come down that you see in the movies. And I told myself in that moment, I was like, I will never again be out dance salsa, right? So I remember like this was early days. I remember I just learned I just taught myself. So the rest of the night I was just watching everybody salsa dance. I was picking up the steps. I'm over here just like looking at stuff like that, looking down at people's feet, people's footwork, right? I taught myself how to salsa dance. Like, cause I was like, I will never have that shit happen again. All right. I remember, and then I think years later, I think I saw that same chick at the same nightclub, and then I danced with her. She's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, I'll take lead. I was like, okay, cool. And she took lead for a bit, and I took over, and I fucking danced. She's like, oh, you gotten better. I was like, yep, sure did. Right. And then I dipped her, and then I brought her back up, and then this dude walked up, babe, who the fuck you dancing with? He was like, oh, she's like, yeah, I'm married now. I was like, fuck. So I got my revenge. But she's married now, so yeah, I taught myself how to dance.
Not to the same guy from the first part.
Not the same guy. No, it's different asshole. Different asshole.
Got it.
I only say that because she was married. But yeah, dude, it was crazy. Like, cause being able to dance and being able to dance salsa, like, is really like a game changer. Like, I remember one time I had just got off work. I was in security. My homies was already at the club. And I walked in. I always hook my homies up. Like every time I see a chick, like, hey, bro, go get on her. She cute. Hey, homie, go get on her. She cute. Go on that chick. She cute. Like, I'll help my homies get a dance first, or help them like get a chick before I do. I think it's kind of a like, because at first I used to be chubby, so I kind of like low confidence. But also it's a way for me to like have them be busy instead of them trying to come up and like trying to interrupt whatever I got going on. But hey, man, we about to leave, you know, because some people, you got friends that are haters. But hey, dude, we about to leave. I'm like, bitch, I am talking. Don't you see this fine woman right here? Like, don't you like, hey, go over and talk to her. Like, who? The fine chick right there. She was staring at you for the last 5 minutes. Go over and talk to her. Like, hey, baby, how we doing? How we doing? We good? Like, as a way to just, yeah. So I remember I walked in to this club. I told my homie, I saw this one chick. She was like kind of staring at a group of us. It was like 3 or 4 of us. She kept looking over. I was like, hey, man, why don't you go dance with her? And my homie was like, nah. He was like, what you go dance? He's like, nah, I ain't you. And my homie, I was like, why don't you go dance with her? He was like, Corde, why don't you go dance with her, huh? You keep suggesting all of us to go dance with her. Yeah, I walked up. I danced with her. Probably danced with her for like 2 minutes. We was hella close, like hella seductive. And I kissed her. Made out with her. Dude, I was there for 6 minutes.
Nice.
To this day, my homie still is like the legendary story because, my cousin accused me of not having game. One of my female cousins accused me of not having game. And then her and my homie, my best friend, like one of them got into it. What the hell you mean? Corde ain't got no game. Corde ain't got hella games. Like, no, he ain't got no game. He was like, you ain't seen what this man has done, right? Because I used to wear this mustard yellow shirt. He was like, he walked in the club and he was there for 6 minutes and made out with a bitch. Have you ever seen him do that? Is that no game? Is that no game? He was there 6 minutes. I was like, what the hell going on? I ain't never seen him. This man taught himself salsa. Like, right? I was like, that dude got tons of game. What you talking about? You ain't seen some of the shit I've seen him do. All right. Oh, yo, I'm gonna tell you one story that is crazy. Like, so me and my homie, he go by Bobby, right? We went to a club. It's a place called this Hookah Lounge in Albany, right? We used to go there all the time. And I remember me and him, we used to go there all the time, dance with hella chicks. And I remember I used to dance with a chick and I would toss her up in the air. Like, that was like, and then my homie was like, did you toss that bitch in the air? I was like, yeah, I did. Like, right. And then, so then I became known. That's a dude who be tossing bitches in the air. Like, that's what he was. Hey, be careful. Our ceiling got lower. Like, they were just making like funny ass, like little thing. It's like, and we only got we working on some stuff. They'll be throwing her in the air. That's a health risk or something. Right. So it was me and Bobby. And then, we was going to our favorite spot again, right? And then it was like these 3 chicks. We walked in the spot, and my homie Bobby, who always looked out for me sometimes, right? We look out for each other. Like, we know our types. We know, like, our homies' types. So he was like, hey, go talk to that female right there. She keeps staring at you. Go dance with her. And I saw, like, this other, like, little chick. My mindset, I was like, I'm toss a bitch in the air tonight, right? The chick who he pointed at was kind of thicker. I was like, this might be a harder challenge, right? And then it was, like, a small Asian chick, right? And he was like, go. I was like, nah, I'm going to toss. He's like, oh, what we going to do? I'm going to dance with her. You dance with her. And then we're going to switch back, right? He's like, I don't know if that's going to work, right? He's like, you know how we be getting down. You know, if seductively dancing with a female, they ain't just going to switch up with your homie, right? So then I'm dancing with this chick, and I start tossing her up in the air. And I'm like, hey, bro, let's switch. And he was like, and I look over when I was like, he's like, I don't know if she going to let me switch. And then he tried to walk away. She pulled him back. Truth be told, a little bit later, I'm dancing with the chick, and then they start making out. Him and the girl start making out. I was like, fuck, well, definitely I can't switch now, right? I can't switch now.
It'd be so great if you were like, switch?
They're like, hey, excuse me. We
agreed to a switch.
Yeah, play with me and make a switch real quick. All right, Bobby, you go over there. Hi. Let's stop that kissing. Let's stop that. Hey, get that tongue out your mouth. Like, and then they the kissing, making out, and then so I try to go for the chick who I was like tossing in the air, and I try to like go for her. She just went like, she hit me one of these. And I was like, okay, right? And then so they making out and chilling, and then my homie looked at me. He's like, bro, I told you. I was like, she was looking at you, and it looked like she might have been just somebody who wanted to find, you know, I'll find either one of your homies attractive, like whichever one, you know, because women, whoever pursues me, I'm gonna pursue them, kind of a thing. I was like, damn. So then later that night, like, place was closed, so I'm trying to get the homegirl who I was tossing up in the air, who dissed me and not try to kiss me. I try to get her number, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if I get my number out, yada yada yada." Meanwhile, my homie and the girl, they all like all lovelies and stuff like that. I was like, "Damn it!" And he was like, "I told you to get with her." Like, and she was bad. She was thick, white chick. I think at the time he was 20, I was 19, and I think she was like 25. Like, she was 25, right? And like to this day, right, it was crazy. We always talk about this woman because he's talked to her for like a few weeks and stuff, right? And she was like a lawyer. She was in law school or about to become a lawyer or something like that. Like, she was super smart. She bought this man an iPod. Like, she bought this dude hella stuff. She was treating this dude well. She even bought this dude a jacket, right? Like, it's so funny because none of his exes know that a chick who he was talking to, like, that he met when he was 20. Like, he has a crazy ex, right? And she used to like destroy everything, get rid of everything. And anytime a female got him something, or any past chicks, right? She would toss all that stuff, bleach it or something like that, destroy it, right? So she found out that his crazy ex found out that this chick had bought him the iPod. So she had broke the iPod on purpose, like, to spite him and like super jealous stuff, right? And it's like, what about this jacket? Did the bitch buy you this jacket too? He was like, nope, my grandma bought me that jacket, all right? Straight up lied, right? This man kept that jacket for like 10 years because she was super dope. And I was like, man, what happened? Why did y'all not work out? Why did y'all not work out? He was like, man, it was cool. She was dope. I was like, I was kind of immature, right? he was like, I remember like we was hanging out. We hung out one time, and then the next time she said her family was like somewhere else, but her brother came to town, right? And I'm hanging out with her. We're having a cool time, and I'm hanging out with her brother. And he was like, and I'm like being funny and jokey like her brother, who was like she always thought was immature, right? And I'm acting just like her brother. And then he's like, in the moment, he realized later when they didn't go out again, he was like, oh, this dude is too immature for me. I can't date an immature guy, right? I was like, damn, dude, that sucks. And he was like, yeah, man, that chick was dope. She was dope as hell. He's like, but I don't think I was ready to date a chick like that at the time. And he was like, because I was immature. I really was trying to be out here in these streets, like dating chicks, right? I was like, yeah, man, that sucks. He's like, nah, it don't suck for me. He's like, dude, it sucked for you. I was like, what you mean? He was like, you was always the mature homie. You was always the homie who like was said, I'm ready to settle down. I want a chick, like I want a real chick. I'm tired of coming to these clubs all the time. He was like, yeah, you tossing chicks in the air, but you was always looking for a chick. I was like, and I told you. He's like, I told you to go talk to her. He was like, you could have been married right now. You could have. It's like, you the smart dude. He always called me smart nigga. He was like, you was a smart nigga. You got 2 degrees. She a lawyer. Y'all have been teaming up. We would have probably been to all the different baby showers. It was hella funny. There's a story like this where he could have possibly had like a chick who was like really, but he was still like, you the one who fucked up. Like, I knew I was immature. He's like, but you the one, because you want to toss this skinny chick in the air and you never get her number. Meanwhile, the chick who I told you to hook up with, like, really could have been something. I was like, fuck. So we always.
So he would have been okay if you had stepped in, even though they had something going on that night?
Well, because he saw that she liked me and he told me, like, hey, you need to go talk to her. Like, she keeps staring at you. Like, and plus she was my type more than his type. So that's what it was. Like, yeah, he like talked to her and it was cool. But at the same time, it was always like, she's not really my type. Like, she's a dope human being. But like, that's how close we were. He was always like, yo, I messed up because I know I wasn't ready for like a chick like that. But you always was, in that sense. Like she's a lawyer, she got this going on, all that kind of stuff like that. He's like, you would have knew how to treat her at that earlier age. Like, you would have known how, like, all right, I'm gonna stop hanging out with y'all as much. Oh, you going for law? Because I was trying to go for law at the same time and pursue football. So he already knew, like, my maturity wise, like mentally, like he was like, she was the perfect fit that you fucked up trying to dance with somebody else. And then I talked to her and tried to date her, but it didn't work out because I wasn't at the same maturity level you already was.
No, I get that. I'm just surprised that he would even pursue her then if he felt that strongly about it.
Well, we was just so we just walked in the club and was just start dancing with these females. We didn't know where it was gonna go. Mm-hmm. So then, but he was like, still looks back on it, he was like, I messed up, but you was the one who really fucked up because that could have been you, like kind of a sense, you know?
I guess, yeah, if I was with my friends, even if like he's like, oh, you guys have a better connection, if he's getting after this girl or talking to this girl, I mean, I'm not gonna like step in on that. So
so it was like, you know how your homie try to throw you a layup, and then like you like miss it, and then so he just laid up, and it was like, okay, I made the thing, but he was basically, I messed up the situation because he was like, yo, that girl looking at you, right? And then he was like, go talk to her, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go talk to this chick. So he was like, I fucked up in that way.
Okay.
And then he was like, so he go talk to her, and he was like, yeah, I saw it. Like, I saw like that this whole, like the chick seemed cool, like kind of a thing like that. So it's less of a, after he's talking to her, like now I can come in. It wasn't that. It was just like, he talked to this chick who like was super special, super dope. But at the same time, he knew it was somebody who I probably deserved in my life, kind of at the time. Like at early on, like that's how dope my homie was. I remember in that moment, I was like, yeah, but y'all was talking, you was trying to date her. He's like, yeah, man, and I wasn't mature like that. He was like, I think about her all the time, but at the same time, that was somebody who you should have been with. Like like that's how.
This just seems so weird to me. My friends have always been like every man for himself.
Oh yeah,
there's been no like I'm gonna save somebody for you. It's always just kind of been like, okay, we're gonna go out there.
Oh, no, I got homies like that.
Where the chips fall, they're gonna fall.
No, I got homies like that, but he was so that's how I knew that he was like a not only a best friend, like a brother.
Sure.
In that moment, because it was like a very unselfish like thing to say. Like most of the time, it's like every man for himself and shit like that. But he was like it was one of those clear. It was like one of those clear things. He's a year older than me. It was one of those clear things that he saw that I didn't see.
Yeah.
So he was just like, nah. I mean, like, yeah, but that should have been you from jump. Like that should have been you from jump. So yeah, but I do got a few homies who who be like every man for himself though. And those dudes, it's like they your homies, but you can't bring every chick around them because they kind of some assholes sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll be like, I only have one friend that's like that.
Yeah.
That even like he thinks everybody's into him.
Oh my God.
Like my girlfriend of 5 years, she's like, I don't know, man, the way she was talking to me.
God.
And she's like, yeah, he was really annoying me all night.
Yeah. No, yeah. Oh, I got a homie like that. Like, so same situation. So let's say it's a female, the same situation. Let's say if the female who my homie ended up talking to for like a little bit, right? Let's say I was talking to a female, right?
Yeah.
I have a homie like that, like talking to her. He's like, hey man, she keep looking at me. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I don't know, man. She kept looking at me. I was like, I was making out with her. Her eyes was closed. He's like, yeah, but every time I took a break, she looked at your boy. And I was like, what the fuck? He was like, I'm just saying, man. And like, if you done kissing her, maybe I can go in there too. I was like, what? What? So yeah, I do have a homie like that though, who like, hey man, I don't know. She was, I mean, you cool, but I'm me.
So stupid.
I was like, man, get the fuck out my face. I was like, what? He's like, I'm just saying, man, I mean, if y'all break up, like, don't say I didn't warn you, so.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
So, yeah. And it was funny because most of the time, he never got with a chick who I was talking to. That was always the funniest thing. He said, oh, man, she a hater. She a hater. And I was like, no, dude, she wasn't into you. Dude, stop it. Like, also, like, why would you try to get at a chick after I talked to her? Like, that's straight up asshole shit. He's like, everybody like me. Though, everybody like me. And I'm like, they don't. They don't. But yeah. Would you ever, you had a serious relationship right now, but like, have you ever dated an ex of your homies? Or like, would you ever?
No, I think the worst thing I've done is like, I've won a lot of those every man for himself things. Okay. And I have felt no remorse about it.
Okay, cool.
But I feel like if I ever lost one, I'd be pretty bitter. But I'm undefeated, so I don't know what that's like.
I'm gonna be honest right now. So a lot of every man for himself type of stuff, I didn't like to hang around with a lot of friends who were like that because my game wasn't that good. Like, or I just wasn't like self-confidence in myself. You can talk yourself out of things. So then like my game was probably good, but I would talk myself out of it so quick. But then sometimes those friends used to love to have me around because I was Mr. Alley-oop. I was Mr. what, man, because this is how crazy it was. I would help. I say my game wasn't that good, right? But I would tell them what to say to a female and it would always work. So I always thought that my game wasn't good, even though I'm feeding them lines that I would say. But I would he was like, why don't you go over there and do it? And it was one of those things like,
you were the writer, not the performer.
Writer, not the performer. Hell yeah. Right. And so then when my game got good, even though my cousin said I didn't have a good game, when my game got good, when I wrote and started to perform, because a few of my homies is like, the same homie who said, bro, you should have been talking to her, it shouldn't have been me. He was like, man, if you don't get the fuck up out of there and stop helping me with everybody, you can use it. It's like, use the same stuff you use on me. Like, I remember I came up with a few code lines, like so cold in the moment, I don't remember what it was. And then they would say, later they'd be talking to the female, like they'll ask her, like, what was it that I said that made you want to talk to me or made you want to date me? He was like, oh, you just said something that I had never really heard before, like in the moment. And it was like, Corde said that. Like Corde was like, it's like, Corde, you the man. I was like, what? He was like, remember that line you said? Like, not really. He was like, well, that's why we're together. That's why I appreciate you. Like, appreciate you. I'm about to go fuck. Like, see you later. So yeah, it was always crazy like that. But yeah. Also, in high school, I was kind of chubby, but then, so it was two things. It was me thinking I was chubby in high school, and then I went on like this huge, like, I want to say like huge weight loss journey, but my body started to change. I went from like 250-ish, like kind of like husky, whatever, and I lost like 20 pounds, and then I lost like another 15, so I was like 210, and I bulked up and had like 15, like 225, 230, right? Like muscle put on, so my body looked way different. So during the process, I just thought the whole time I was like a chubby kid. And then when I started like looking better, I started getting more attention. But in my mindset, I was still like, I'm still that chubby kid. And my homies was like, who was cool, like my ride or die homies, they was like, nah, dude, go out there, talk to bitches. They staring at you. And I'm like, in my mindset, no, I'm still chubby, yada, yada, yada. And it wasn't until I started pulling females and like giving them like advice on what to say to chicks that I was like, oh shit, no, I'm actually like the writer became the performer, you know, like the pen became the pad and I could speak it too. And so then that's when I was like, oh, then that's when I became like very good, very personable, very like all that kind of stuff. So
here it takes like almost like 6 months to a year for like your brain to catch up with your body when you go through a change like that.
Really was. Cause I remember, I think I was working out for like, I met my big bro who was like a personal trainer. I call my big bro, like we're not big bros, but right. I just seemed like, cause he's like 10 years older than me, gave me like a ton of game, put me like a lot of different stuff. Like I remember I met him like in June. I remember it was like June 21st when we started working out. And I think we ran the whole entire summer, like June, like 5 days a week. It was like June, July, August, September. So it wasn't even 5 days. It wasn't the summer. It was, and in August, I remember, I think it was Halloween, we stopped running and we just started hitting the gym. So I had ran for like all that time. Now, no, I'm thinking I'm still chubby, thinking I'm still big. I had lost like whatever muscle I had from high school and whatever fat, I had lost all that. So I looked like super skinny. Like I probably was 205, 210 from like being 250. And like, you know, as a high school kid, and if it's just like all like losing whatever fat, so like my fat just got down like super, and then I bulked up from like Halloween to like April of the next year. So then just like all muscle, just like, I'm like, I didn't even recognize myself, like my chest all coming in. I was like, who the hell is this kid? Like my collarbone all showing, like, what's that line? Oh, is that oh shit, like, right? Then I was making like, I was trying to get like a 6-pack. We was making bets like who was gonna get a 6-pack. I had like a 4-pack coming in. I had never seen like, I was like, oh my God, I got abs. I was like, oh my God, right? And then, but it took me a long time for that mindset of being from that fat, chubby kid just last year to now in April. Like, oh no, I'm a whole different sculpted person. And what actually helped me in that situation was the fact that people kept telling me, like, damn, you look hella good. Like, you like, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just being in the gym, like, whatever, you know. And it's like, no, you like, somebody else like, no, you look way different. Because I was like, no, I'm chubby. They was like, what? They was like, no, you look really good. Like, you like, your whole body is different. Like, you kind of was chubby in high school, but then, like, senior year, you kind of, like, lost some weight. It's like, now it seems like you lost more weight and just, like, bulked up, like, your chin. And, like, I was like, oh. So then just hearing that more and more, I was like, okay, all right. And, all right. So I stopped. And then I went out with a few more of those homies. Like, hey, Corde, what you going? I ain't telling you shits. All right. This is the new Corde. This is a new Corde over here. Like I'm about to. And I remember I started picking up like hella different girls like that. And my homie was just like, man, Corde, you a hater now. I was like, what you mean? I was like, I was gonna talk to her. It was like every man for himself. It's like, yeah, but what about the dope ass lines? You would. What about that? Help a brother out. And then so after I would talk to like a few chicks, I would then feed them a line, right, of who to talk to, because these same friends who was every man for themselves. It was every man for themselves, but then it was also be like hey, can you come talk to her friend for me real quick? Like, you come help me out, talk to her friend. And I was so dope, like wingman, that no matter what the friend looked like, I would talk to her, like, right? Like I would, it would be so much so that her, like, if the dude was talking to her friend, the fine one, right? I would make the not attractive friend look so like made it seem like I liked her so much that they would invite me out for a double date, not knowing that I was just like selling the game so much. I remember one time I went on a double date with a female, right? And it was my homie and the chick who she was like, yo, you treat my friend so damn good. Like, I still remember like the stuff you were saying to her, like, oh my God, because I was feeding the same one-liners that I was giving him. And it was like, damn, like I wish a dude would talk to me like that. He was like, what you mean? He was like, she's like, well, you said like one thing one time, like, but I was just feeding like the lines to him. She's like, you said that one thing, that was like kind of cool. It kind of got me, but I was like, but he just talking to her like, oh my God, like he kind of seduced me. And the whole time her friend looked like a gargoyle. Right? But then because I was just trying to help my homie talk to her, and then I got mad. He's like, oh, like so the whole situation was like the double date. I was like, oh, I'm thinking she hooked me up with like a fine friend of hers or like a cute friend of hers. But because I had talked to her ugly friend so good, it was like, well, I saw y'all hit it off so well, I thought it'd be a cool time to hang out. So I had to just like play it cool the whole time. And I was like, and I just kept texting my homie, hey man, you lucky I love you, bro. You lucky I was like, this is the last time I remember doing this shit again. I was like, why you didn't tell me it was the same friend from that night? He was like, well, I told you it was her friend. I was like, but you wasn't Pacific. You wasn't Pacific. Now this chick all touching me in public. Like, I was like, and the club is cool because like she kind of like, it's kind of dark. I was like, now I'm all out in public. You know, like other chicks talking to you like, hey man, what you what you doing? Like, hey, let's not, hey, yo, like take that hand off me, kind of a thing. So yeah, I was crazy in my early 20s and teens. Like, hell yeah, it was cool time. It was cool time indeed. But yeah. What about you? Know any? Oh, you about to say something?
No, go ahead. No.
Like, have I dated a girl that my friend was with before?
No, I was gonna say like how are you and your homies? Are they like all man for themselves, or you homies throw up layups and stuff like that, or?
So I don't really got a lot of homies. The homie's Jared, but in the past, yeah, it was pretty every man for himself. Okay. I got in a lot of shit for that. Yeah, because I was very much like, because I was very small. Yeah, and I was like, if I can get a girl, I'm gonna fucking take it. Yeah. So fuck all of you guys. But at the same time, my first like real girlfriend was my best friend's ex. Okay. Yeah. So I snagged that shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Was there a weirdness between you and your best friend after that?
No, because he kind of, it was the same thing. I was kind of feeding him lines when they were together, like trying to tell him like what to do. Yeah. And like it got him pretty far. They were together for a while, and then once they broke up, he kind of knew what I was gonna do. Yeah. We kind of had an agreement on it. Yeah. And I tried one time, didn't work out, got rejected. Yeah. A year went by, and then I got the bag next time.
Yeah, got the bag next time. Hell yeah.
Sir.
Because I always think about that because, like, I know there's a guy code, but then there's sometimes, like, a situation where, like that, you've been feeding your homie lines to talk to this woman and stuff like that, or just, like, it was always a kind of, like, I don't want to say it was an understanding that you might like her or something like that, but it was, like, you helped this situation, and it's never... You don't go talk to your homie's ex like right after they break up. Like you wait a bit. Like we're respectful. Like and then like a year later down the line, he probably moved on. She's moved on. Well, to you obviously. Yeah. But then it's like oh yeah, like nah, it's cool. Versus like you broke up, me and my girl or some shit like that. Like I always feel like that's a different thing. Like I remember. Me and my homies don't have the same type of taste in women, but some of us do. Like when it comes to every man for themselves, kind of a thing. And then it was like yeah, and I was like. It's like, yeah, I would date her like after you. It was like, what? It's like, yeah, I mean, like, kind of have the same taste. And he was like, oh, okay, well, yeah. Like, I have a homie in high school. We went to junior college together, and I was like, hey, you know, if you ever break up with your girl, I might date her. He's like, yeah, I know. I was like, why you say that? He was like, the way she flirt with you, the way y'all talk, like, y'all seem like I have a dope chemistry. And he was like, I would get it. And he was like, she's like very flirtatious. He's like, but I see like y'all cool, right? And he was like, but I know you hella respectful. And I know you ain't never gonna like break us up. I was like, nah. I was like, I be like trying to help y'all situation. Like anytime like, hey, like I feel like you need to say to this, feeding them lines, stuff like that. Say the same thing to her. Like I need you. We probably need to say this so y'all can work shit out. And then later on, like they broke up. Like me and her never got together. I did flirt with her a few different times. And then, but he would tell me, he's like, yeah, that was a situation where it was like a hookup situation that was like kind of toxic, and we ended up dating, and we really shouldn't have. He's like, but we did. He was like, yeah, so he was like, you could get with her now. I was like, she got a kid. You know, I don't date chicks with kids. He's like, I don't know, man. You seem like a nice teddy bear, like stepdaddy. And I was like, I would have been in a situation if she didn't hook up with her baby daddy. And I was like, because her baby daddy was a teammate of ours who wasn't shit at all. Like while I told him this, like, hey, man, if y'all break up, her baby daddy was like actively trying to flirt with her whenever my homie wasn't around. I was like, this dude toxic as shit. So I remember one time, and eventually he broke up, and then they got together. He got her pregnant, like all this kind of stuff. One time I saw her out and about, and I remember I walked up to her and said, she was like, right? She gave me like, no. I was like, what the fuck? And then her baby daddy came up, and I was like, you still with this lame ass motherfucker? And she was like, okay, bye. I can't talk to you. Because I said it to his face. I didn't care. Because I knew the type of dude he was. I knew he was trash when I first met him. He was a trash teammate. Then he was trying to like undermine my homie, trying to get at her, like actively, like while you see them out and about together holding hands, she's taking ride home. So like some dudes is just whack. You know, like every man for himself. Some dudes be like that when a girl is in an active relationship. Like, I was like, dude, you that's not even every man for himself. You just a fucked up dude. That's like
that's different.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, like every man for himself, it's like when we're out getting at single females, not while you're in a relationship. So
yeah, once you've I hate to say the term bagged, but like, once you're with somebody, like, come on.
Yeah, come on, right? Come on. And I remember I said that to her face. And I remember she messaged me later. She was like, yo, that was fucked up, but also hilarious. I was like, what you mean? She was like, he's hella mad right now, and I can't stop laughing. Because she knew me, because I'm like, because she know I'm not a, because I, like, they knew at this point I was in comedy, right? So then she was just like, she's like, this dude don't be shit sometimes, and I love seeing somebody else call him out to his face. Like sometimes, you know, Facebook and social media, they won't say it to his face. Like, you won't say it to my face. I was like, I told her, I don't like that dude. So yeah, I was like, if you want to, I said, whenever y'all break up, show him this message, like, you ain't shit or some shit. I don't think she did it, but it was just funny as hell. Cause she's like, oh,
but then why is she with him if she says he ain't shit? That's the part I don't get.
It's so confusing.
I don't get that. Like, if you're really going to sit there and talk that much shit about your partner, like, then don't be with them.
Yeah.
Some people hate being alone.
Some people hate being alone. And then I think they broke up for a bit, and then they was trying to make it work, kind of a thing. But you know what it is? Because we talk about this all the time. Like, I don't understand it as well. Like, you know, last episode, hey, y'all need therapy. Like, and then what was the one like, if he wanted to, he will. Like,
this one's got to be "Don't say I didn't warn you."
Oh, fire, yo, fucking, woo! Don't say I didn't warn you. So that situation, I feel like this is what happens a lot of times in relationships. Like, right, if the baby daddy ain't shit and the relationship's not really that good, right? The guy will come back specifically to say, like, hey, I want my family back together. He might want it, but most of the time he really don't. He just don't want her to move along from him. So he'll say, I want my family back together when he knows she's about to move on and really, like, be done with him. So I think she gave him one last shot, and they tried to date it for a little bit, and then it didn't work out. And I'm like, I know it didn't work out because he ain't shit, you know? Like, what'd you say the title of this thing called?
Oh, Don't Say I Didn't Warn You.
Don't say I didn't warn you. I got so many stories about that. Like, don't say I didn't warn you, right? Don't say, like, don't hook up with that dude. That dude's a loser. He's probably gonna, like, try to maybe, like, get you pregnant or some shit. Or the moment you try to leave him, he's gonna try to trap you, get you pregnant so you won't be able to move on. Dude ain't shit. He gonna, like, fuck you up head. Like, it's like, I know he kind of attractive, whatever. I was like, but that long term, he got no plans, all right? And what happened? Get her pregnant, back and forth, some shit like that. Hey, don't say I didn't warn you, all right? Don't say I didn't warn you.
Dude, when people try to get back together, like, I don't know. I remember when I was in, like, middle school, my mom sat me down and she said, look, if it didn't work the first time, it isn't going to work the second time. I feel like that's, like, in my bones. Like, there are some situations I'm sure where but, like, 90% of the time, there's a reason why you guys broke up.
I mean, like, I still, like, I get you, definitely. But I definitely sometimes I circle back sometimes. Like, I remember I was telling my homie, he was gay. I was telling him about, well, never mind, scratch that. I tell people sometimes, I was like, sometimes dudes circle back after 4 months to see, like, if anything changed. Like, I remember for me specifically, I was talking to a female in college. And I remember, like, she was big on, like, material stuff. She wanted, like, everything paid for and all this kind of stuff. And I'm a broke college student. I can't do that for you. I remember I was given money. My parents was giving me a certain amount of money to survive, like, while I was in college, to have bare minimum stuff. Like, here's some money for laundry, here's money for food, stuff like that. And I remember I took her out one time. I think I only had $120 in my account. So I was like, I'm gonna make this shit stretch. I'm gonna have to make this shit stretch, right? I went on a date with her, right? And the total came up to $78, right? And I paid for it, no hesitation. I even tipped the waitress, and I was like, it's gonna be tight. I was like, but things are always tight as a broke college student, right? I remember she got mad at me that I didn't pay for parking. Guess how much parking was?
$12.
No.
$8?
It was $2.
Oh, what the fuck?
Right. So I'm like, I'm flipping out. Also, the crazy thing about it, she hooked up with me that night on the beach. Romantic as hell. I'm not gonna lie. I understand why fucking on the beach is like, that shit was, right? But I remember she kept bringing that up later on, saying that, like, I just think it's a red flag that you didn't pay for the parking. And I was like, I paid for the dinner. It's like, yeah, but, like, you didn't pay for the parking. I was like, I didn't see any signs. You know how most time, like, SF, like, you see, like, parking rates is this per hour, stuff like that. And if you, like, stay over there, it'll be like this, like, none of those signs up. So I'm looking around. She's like, no, I felt like you was, like, trying to avoid paying. And I was just like, it was $2. It was $2, right? So later we took a break. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I'm not gonna get a job to date you, right? So later, stopped talking. We broke up. Started talking again. I just realized how selfish she always tried to like belittle anything. I was like, I'm going to grad school right now. It's like really hard, stuff like this. So yeah, but Corde, you have the backing of your family. So I had my brother went through like grad school and he didn't have that backing. You got the backing. I was like, why is it always got to be? I have this whole. I was like, backing my family. I was like, I've taken out a loan and I've gotten 4 to 5 different grants that's covering that. I was like, the backing my family is what? I was like, I don't understand. I was like, backing them. I was like, I got all this is on me. Like I'm an adult. Like all this is on me. It's like, yeah, my brother didn't have nothing. I was like, all this like belittle shit. Like so,
my brother had to pay for his own parking.
He had to pay for his own. Exactly. He had to pay for his own $2 parking. I was like, what the hell are you talking about, yo? Like,
yeah. I have a question. Going back to like the relationship thing, do you think it's possible for someone to be in a relationship, have issues, break up, separate, and then get back together and have it work out?
I think that's extremely rare. Okay. Percentage-wise, I'm thinking 5% of people that do that, it works out. Because usually that's like they're split up because of a scenario. Mm-hmm. Like they would both went away to school and then they reconnect after. Mm-hmm. But if they're in the same location, they like, and maybe that's it too, because people do change when they go to school.
Yeah.
But because my ex and the old best friend, they got back together after I broke up with her. And so like I'm like rooting for them because I feel like that's such a hard
And they're still together?
I think so.
So you were college.
Yeah.
Long 4 years of college. Hell yeah. That is yeah. So yeah, definitely like you like 5%. I think it's 20%. I think it's 20%.
Okay.
Because I feel like people like do meet up like later on and stuff like that. But it's like a separation, like you said, like or you said
a life event has to happen.
Yeah, exactly. A life. It's like a life event that separated us, but it wasn't because we was fighting and friction and stuff like that. It was like life is taking us 2 different ways. Like let's say like high school sweethearts leaving because we're both going to separate colleges.
The plot of every Hallmark movie.
Exactly. That's literally what I'm feeding into. That's literally what I'm feeding into. It's like, or we was dating in college, but then my grad school is on the West Coast, your grad school is on the East Coast and stuff like that. Like all those type things, or like, like not right now is not working out. And that's honestly why I started talking to the chick again, because in the time in college I was broke and stuff like that. And then later when we met back up, I'm in grad school, comedy's going well, so I'm paying for all this kind of stuff. But then I still realized, I was like, you are still toxic. Like you are still toxic as hell. And I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but then that chick was just toxic. But yeah. So sometimes it's other stuff. Like it's like, so yeah, the moving of life trying to evolve of like I'm going to college here, you're going to college there, or we're both living in California, but I might go off to the military, or I might join the Peace Corps and I'm be going around, or I need to travel, I need to get out of, some people like, I need to find myself. Like, so like, okay, well, you go find yourself. I'm about to go to college, or I'm about to go to grad school. And then like later on, y'all come back together and meet in like a weird situation. And then sometimes that happens, and usually y'all might be able to bring it back up and spark. Because sometimes you do run into people you used to talk to like randomly at different times. I remember that's why I like to always dress nice when I go out. Because whenever it's like the one time you don't care about what you're wearing, all of a sudden you run into that fine woman who you used to like in high school, and you just look like a straight bum. And you're like, oh my God, why did I do this? The one time I look bummy, I'm running into the fine ass woman that I remember I was thought about for weeks. And he was like, God damn it. So literally, if you ever see me out, if I don't look nice the one time, it's because I'm like, that's the one time I'm looking bummy. Every other time I'm just like fancy as fuck, So hell yeah. Shout out to Create Studios. Fuck yeah. Thanks for having us.
I don't have the key, so if you don't lock the door, I have the code. But if I get locked in, I feel like we've been locked in before. Okay. Okay. If you don't mind, thanks, man.
Sorry for the brief intermission. That is our sponsor, Corde Studios. Thank you for having us, Corde Studios. We love every single time we are here. It's a very welcoming place. Corde Studios. We can learn how to create a podcast and keep it going. Also, they have a great recording studio that is downstairs. So any upcoming artists, DJ No Chill, if you want to record down there. If you have the set of the night, definitely come to Create Studios and you could talk about it. You don't have to go to Instagram with it now. Let's talk about it on a whole podcast, or make a rap beef about it. Rap beef is big right now, and Drake doing a bunch of stuff. So yeah, we here at Create Studios, we love to create figments of our imagination that we are amazing and dope comics. Hell yeah. There we go. Hell yeah. That is Yeah, that's a diss. I might cook this up and I might make it. I'm not gonna lie.
Shit. Oh shit. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I know I should have done that at the beginning.
It's all right.
Anything else?
Yeah, it's all right. It's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool, man. Great studios. Hell yeah. That is dope. I don't care. You can come in here and interrupt. We can sit you down. We can talk about how you come up with a whole studio. So that's dope. But yeah, what was talking about? DJ No Chill? Yeah. So Jared, you was in the Rooster Teeth competition this past week.
I was.
How did that go?
I thought I did pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah.
I didn't pass on.
Okay.
But I do feel like then I was close.
Yeah.
I definitely, it was not a bad set.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who's afraid to admit if I have a bad set.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was interesting because a couple people, it was really tough. So they took the top 3.
Yeah.
I would say everyone who's like 4, 5, 6, 7, it's very close.
Yeah.
Like it was very similar sets across the board. And then there just were some folks that were newer that had just not done that well. Now, I would say I've seen No Chill do well. He's done well at a show that I put on.
Okay.
He did not have a good set that night. That's what I would say. The audience did not like him. I do think he said the N-word a little too aggressively at the beginning, and it kind of set them, like, it kind of pulled him back, and then he doubled down. So then it was just like, okay, these jokes are not bad, but they're not enjoying this energy.
Know your audience.
Yes. Yeah. And I was just a little surprised.
Can't be slinging the N-word in Santa Clara. They're not used to that. They're very tech people. Like,
they hate it when I do it. So.
Oh, damn. For those wondering, Jared has never said an N-word around me. I would not justify he doesn't say that shit, but it was just funny in the moment. He called me up with that one. But nah, yeah, so you got to know your audience. I'm just giving DJ No Chill shit because he said he was going to slap Tony Sparks, but also it's just funny as hell to see a dude who's 2 years in complain so much. And it's funny to me, like, newer comics are very egotistical. Well, so are long-term comics too, but newer comics are very egomaniac in the sense of they have this unreal belief in themselves, and you need that when it comes to constantly pursuing comedy. But sometimes it teeters on insane of when you don't realize if your set was good or if how great you really are, because how you start measuring yourself, and usually this will happen to everybody. Usually you have a humbling experience with really good comics, and you just like, and you might bomb in a situation and you be like, oh shit, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Sometimes that happens. Other times people be like, hey, I'm killing out here in these streets, and they're really not. Because sometimes they attribute being constantly booked when they're constantly bringing people as like, I do good. I get booked a lot because I'm doing well. It's like, no, you bring a lot of audience people. Or sometimes it's like, I'm being booked because I know people and they're putting me on shows. But then sometimes you might constantly bomb. And it's just like, you have to reevaluate the situation. Like, all right, they got a ton of laughs. Did I get the same amount of laughs? Or like, all right, you didn't win the competition. Instead of saying like, I had the best set of the night, you be like, all right, what do you think I could have done to get better? Or record yourself. I don't know if you can record at Roosters. You probably can't. Or just start looking at the people who won and be like, okay, what did they do to win? Kind of a thing. Like if they brought people, sometimes competitions about that. If they brought a ton of people, like, all right, well, I can't do that. So just compete with the funny, right? Yeah. So like, cause that's an easier way, instead of like bringing 20 people who all have to come, cause that'll stress you out, is compete with being funny or getting funnier. Like do your best jokes. That's another thing about competition. Sometimes like I've done a competition where I just went up, I did a set, instead of just bringing my A game. And I was like, oh, I'm not getting as much laughs as I want to. And then afterwards I listened back to it and I was like, oh, I was just doing my normal set, like on a showcase or like on a show, instead of like my tight, like cut this joke down, get to the punchline faster, like do this kind of a thing too. And then so my contest set is different from like my showcase or 10-minute set. Like my contest set is probably like 5 to 7 minutes, and it's all my jokes cut down to fit in like this 5 minute to 7 minute increments to get the best. It's like, you know, the hits, you give them the hits, and you don't always, like a DJ said, like they don't play the whole entire song. They give you this part, they give you an introduction, they get to this one part, like your favorite part, boom, on to the next one, mix in the next one, kind of thing like that. They don't play like the whole, like with 4 or 5 songs, they don't play the whole 20 minutes. You got to shut it down to like, here's like this little 5 minute increments or stuff like that. So yeah, it's very interesting with competitions because you have to realize what they're looking for. Or sometimes I'll say this, like I did the World Series of Comedy. I'm doing it again this year too. I just booked my flight for Phoenix. Matter of fact, they're going to Phoenix in June 12th, it's the day after my birthday. So I'll be out there. And I remember I thought I had a great set the second time I did it. Or was it second or first? I forget. I got invited back. So I did a Wednesday show. I got invited back for Friday because I was still in town. And I remember I went up on the second show and I did fucking great, right? I did really good. Cussed a little too much, so that might have like dinged me, but also I wasn't coming back the next day, so that might have been another reason why I didn't move on specifically. But I remember it was the host, then me. So I'm going up in a situation where it's not a lot of buffer between the host and me. And usually the crowd is still kind of right. But I went up there and I did like an older material that I know does well because at the time I was trying to do like newer stuff. This is my new stuff. I want to do this, right? I went up and did an older set, polished, clean. I don't know why I didn't do that before. And I went up and I did very well. I said fuck a bunch of times. I said shit a few times. Stuff. Sometimes they ding you for cuss words and stuff like that. But the audience responded very well. And I didn't move on. But the booker at the club saw me. And then I had a conversation with her. Say, hey, anytime you in town, I give you some stage time. So sometimes that's the thing. Like, hey, I didn't win this competition, but I did win another way. Like the booker sees me. Sometimes that's how I treat some stuff. Like, hey, like I didn't win this thing. Booker saw me. Like, hey, like you didn't win, but here's my card. Keep in touch. Let me know, stuff like that. Like when you're ever in town, stuff. I'm like, okay, well, cool. So shit, like I didn't win this competition, but then I did the purpose of coming here. I networked, or I networked with some other comedians. Like, yo, I thought you was the funniest one. I don't know why you didn't move on. And that's always dope too. If the audience comes up to you, hey, you was my favorite one. I don't know why you didn't move on. I don't know the structure of this competition, but you was my favorite. And sometimes I hear that a lot, and then sometimes it's like disheartening because they be like, because if you hear from like a bunch of people and you like, well, who was voting? Like you like if you hear like, let's say it was 50 people, but like 30 people come up to you like, you were my favorite. And I'm like, well, 30 out of 20 said I was their favorite. Then who, and you can tell when it's true because people walk straight up to you. I don't know what happened. You got robbed. I thought you was funny as hell. And then they'll do it in front of other comedians. It was like, oh yeah, you was good too. And yeah, you was good too. But you were my favorite. Like, and I let you know, like, okay, I'm doing something right. And sometimes competitions get you down, but it's like, okay, I did this right. This went well. Keep doing what I'm doing. Keep pushing, So
yeah, I looked at it as an opportunity I'd never performed there. So I was like, oh, that'll be fun. If I move on, great. Exactly. If I don't. Exactly. And then, like I said, when the set went well, I was like, oh, sick. Okay, cool. Because I was fully prepared to go up there and get my ass handed to me and be like, well, this was fun. This was a nice experience.
What are you, 2 years in?
One.
So there you go. That's fucking exactly.
I try to remember that all the time.
Yeah, you're 1 year in. Like keep doing competitions. Like Noah, you keep working and you do competitions too, because then you start seeing competitions, you start seeing how it is, and you start like figuring out what you gotta do. I'll say this. Ask who's ever judging, how did I do afterwards? And where do you think I can improve? Especially because y'all younger comics and stuff like that. Like that's like great little advice, little tedious advice that, because then you know what that club or that book or that judge is looking for. And then you kind of figure out, like, okay, how I curt or edit my jokes to win it at this place. Because every place is different, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I remember listening back to the one at World Series. I was like, damn, I cuss a bunch here. And sometimes I cuss when I'm nervous. But I was, like, second. So I was like, damn, I'm first? I was like, oh, God. But I set the tone. And the guy who won, like, didn't cuss. And it was very well-written jokes. The laughs wasn't the same, but very consistent, well-written stuff. Well, sometimes I hear that's how you have to do to win certain competition, or depending on what competition, they like really clever material.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you want clever material or do you want funny? And it's like either or. Like I like to be funny. I'm not a super well-written comedian because I do a lot of improv in my stuff where like I respond off energy and things like that, and then I try to come up with like well-written jokes, but I can't sometimes stick to them, or like by the time they come or sound well written, I've done it a ton of time. So my editing is through stage, not like writing all the time. So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the competition part kind of gives you like an extra like motivation to do better? Because I have my first one on Tuesday.
What you mean?
Like, do you think like being like, okay, this isn't just a mic, like I'm actually competing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The competition, like I'm a former athlete, so the competition part definitely comes out of me and stuff like that.
Okay.
You definitely get mad, like, what the fuck? I drove all the way out here, like fucked up, stuff like that. Like I'll tell you this, I drove down to the Hollywood Improv, I think like this past summer, like last year in the summer. And I remember I changed up last minute what I was gonna say because there were some different bookers in the room. So I wanted them to hear my old stuff, but I forgot that at the Hollywood Improv, most of it's just comics, so they already heard it. So it wasn't like new laughs. They were just kind of like, oh, we heard this before. Oh, how's he doing this again? And then it's like I wasn't doing well. I was like, I should have aborted like 30 seconds in when it didn't like hit immediately and went back to the stuff I said I'd written. And I didn't. I stuck with it. And it's on like a 3-minute audition. And I was like, fuck. And then the guy who knows me, he was like, yeah, man, just keep working. He was like, yeah. I was like, damn. I was like, my bad, I didn't do it. He's like, I know you're funny. He was like, just keep working. He's like, yeah. And then I was so pissed at the time because I was supposed to spend like the whole week in LA because I wanted it to do that Tuesday, do Wednesday, and supposedly like do a weekend spot. And then because I didn't do well, I had drove down that day. I drove back that same exact night. Like I was that mad. Like my homie looked at me, he was like, because I remember he saw my phone, he was like, you going back home? I was like, why you said that? He was like, you Googling back to the Bay. It says 7 hours or 6 hours. So I think I might. He was like, all right, that mad, huh? I was like, yeah. And then, because I told my mom, I'm going to be gone for a few days. My mom saw me in the morning. She's like, what happened? I was like, didn't do well. She was like, oh, you was pissed. I was like, yeah. She's like, you were so pissed you didn't even get sleepy. I was like, I did not. I did not. The whole way home, I'm slapping any DMX, Meek Mill, all that kind of stuff, like any more, like all this stuff. I'm just like full of adrenaline. I didn't get sleepy till Livermore, and I left Hollywood.
Oof.
So imagine like I'm leaving Hollywood to Livermore. I started getting sleepy then, but it was like a little, not like exhausted, tired. It was just like, I'm a little tired now, but I had so much just energy. What the fuck was you doing? Why'd you do it? Like kind of a, so yeah.
Heads up, we hit our hour.
We hit our hour? Okay, damn.
I will say this because you reminded me. I went to Alameda for the first time.
Okay.
With like the late mic.
Yeah.
And it was only people who had like been at Four Bells a ton of times. Yeah. So I didn't do any material. I just riffed about how upset I was that they all had heard my shit 19 times.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I say in that situation, just do the hits anyway. Was it just all people who've been to Four Bells and like people they brought, or was it just comedians?
Literally just it was 30 comedians that have been to Four Bells at least 7-8 times.
Well, I'll say do the jokes that you think always do well there.
Yeah,
because if it's like if you're doing it in front of comedians who know you and like you, just do their favorite ones. Hey, y'all know this one, like, and then kind of like, and then you get a
they know me. I don't. Yeah.
So you get a swarm. Well, yeah. Well, but so in that situation, you think because y'all all heard this, right? Y'all don't want to hear this again. But it was like, well, this one always does well at the versus this one always does well at the mic, so I'm gonna do it because y'all fans of me and y'all know me.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh fuck, well I'm gonna just get mad
yeah. Riff. Well, I jokingly riffed about it. I was just like, I've been waiting a whole year to come here, and this feels like the worst version of The Voice ever.
Yeah. I love that damn show. So yeah, I have more stuff to talk about, but hey, we didn't talk about it. So hell yeah. Also, never mind. We'll talk about it next episode. But this has been the Corde Snell Show. If you have any questions or any inquiries that you want us to talk about different things, or if I talked about you during the podcast, also, please stop talking to my brother, asking him if this is me on the podcast, because it's not him. His name is Cardelis. My name is Corde. Hit us up at the Corde Snell Show at gmail.com. That's where I'll be responding, or Jared will be responding if you have any questions, inquiries. Also, did you get your hour of Corde this week? Make sure you listen to the podcast, get your hour of Corde this week, because Corde made your day. Just like the E60 thing, you need an hour of physical workout to improve your life. You need an hour of Corde each week to improve your life as well. This has been the Corde Snell Show, and we're out.